President Donald Trump of the United States sent people to go and capture Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela. Wow, this news shocked the whole world, and it's a story that so many people have requested under the comments all week on the Sci Money Monster channel, saying they want to see it in Sci's version. Okay, I'll do it for you. After I just barely woke up, still groggy from the New Year's party, I have to say I rushed a lot to make this clip. But as I was making it, I realized, hey, this is information we really need to know. Not just about this particular event, but about certain structures behind it that are changing the global playing field. The world isn't playing by the old rules anymore, and that means the ways we manage risk and invest are changing too. In this clip, I'll cover all of that for you, whether it's about Donald Trump's motivations, why he did what he did, and more. I'll break it down into three main points. Did he do it to get rid of dictators in the region? Yes. Did he do it to crack down on global drug cartels? That's true too. Did he do it because he wanted their oil? That's also true. But the real question is, do any of these reasons actually affect our lives? How much does it impact the money in our pockets? And wow, was what Donald Trump did even legal? Honestly, everyone says it wasn't legal. And what Donald Trump did is expanding the scope of power? No, it's not that. It's actually tearing up the boundaries of power and just tossing them aside. So in this video, let's take a look at how this all came about, why this event happened, and what exactly this event is telling us. Which one weighs more, power or profit? Support our information. Donald Trump versus Venezuela by scanning this QR code. Every single baht and satang you contribute will go towards supporting our channel's team and creating content that's fun and right on point. And we don't have to answer to anyone else. Or you can easily support the Chai Money Monster segment by liking, sharing, commenting, or saving it to watch later. But what we'd really love for you to do most is please hit the subscribe button so next time I upload a new video, we can meet again. Thank you. Let's start with this picture. January 3rd, 2026. The new year had barely begun and it was already all wrapped up. Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, was captured by US officials using drones. Wow, it became huge news all over the world. The first question that came to my mind when I saw this was, should I be shocked or should I be worried about something first? Then I started to think about money first, because Venezuela equals oil. And when I started watching the news on different channels, I saw that yes, every media outlet around the world was saying the same thing, that Donald Trump can't do this, that he's not really trying to wipe out drug gangs, he just wants their oil. Because under the ground in Venezuela, there are oil reserves that make up as much as 17% of the world's crude oil. Or to put it in numbers, that's over 300 billion barrels, a huge amount. And the oil that's there, it's also heavy crude oil, which is the type of crude oil that the United States really needs a lot of, but the US can't produce it themselves. So they have to rely quite heavily on importing this type of heavy crude oil. When the news broke like this, everyone was shocked. Like, whoa, what's happening? This is huge news. Did the markets freak out? Well, if we want to know whether such big news has caused investors to get excited or worried, and whether the market is reacting to, it's actually really easy to check. Just open up the crude oil price chart. As soon as you do, you'll see that crude oil prices are still moving along as usual. There aren't any long spikes up or sharp drops. In fact, prices have even dipped a little, just a bit, which is totally normal. Honestly, if the oil market was really scared, prices would have already shot up dramatically that very day. So to sum up this first part, yes, the news is shocking, but are investors actually panicking? No, they're not. And the reason why investors aren't panicking, why oil prices haven't spiked or anything, even though when something like this happens to Venezuela, which is one of the countries with the largest oil reserves in the world, there are two reasons for it. Two reasons that I already mentioned briefly, but maybe you didn't quite catch them, right? Let me emphasize them for you. The first reason why investors aren't worried about crude oil prices at all, even though Venezuela has the largest crude oil reserves in the world, is because, number one, those oil reserves in Venezuela even though they're the biggest, are still underground. And let me tell you, the oil that's underground and the oil that's on the market are two completely different things. Sure, they're both oil, but you could say they're in totally different leagues. As long as the oil is still underground, it doesn't create any economic value. It doesn't make any money. If you want it to generate income, you have to extract it, refine it, and process it into a finished product. Only then does it become market-ready oil that can be used in industries and contribute to economic productivity. Plus, the oil in Venezuela is buried deep underground. It's buried really, really deep, much deeper than the average depth of oil in other countries. Why is that? Well, as I mentioned in point 2, the oil in Venezuela is heavy crude, which is the thickest type of crude oil. That means it requires the most refining and processing, takes the most time, involves the most steps, and costs the most money to turn it into usable products. But do you know why Venezuela's economy is in such bad shape despite all this oil? The infrastructure needed to refine oil just isn't enough to handle the 300 billion barrels of oil underground in Venezuela. And if they wanted to build new infrastructure to process or refine that crude oil, they'd have to construct something called an oil refinery, something massive like this. Experts in oil production say it would take at least 10 years, maybe even 20 to build. It's definitely not something that could be done in 5 or 6 months, or even within this year. Or even in the next 3 years, it still might not happen. That's why investors feel that even if Venezuela were taken over by the US and managed temporarily, they wouldn't be too shocked by oil prices. Sure, Venezuela has a lot of oil, but it's all underground. To actually extract and use it would take a really long time, so there's no need to panic just yet. But I have to say, lately, the world has been full of surprises from people who... It's like there's this Avengers superhero gang or something, always creating miracles in the world with their own, let's say, unconventional methods. You know why? Because the oil market right now, the one that's so tough and competitive, it's hardly driven by the economy anymore. It's almost entirely about power now. And the person I'm talking about, the one who could speed up production and make a miracle happen by getting that underground oil from Sierra and get it into use in such a short time, that person isn't hard to guess. It's Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he actually said he might support the big oil companies in the US to go invest in refining Venezuela's crude oil and get it processed and ready for use within 18 months. When I saw this information, did anyone else think the same thing I did? Oops, just forcibly removed their country's leader out, and now they're going to actively encourage their own companies to invest in drilling for oil in that country, refine it, and then sell it back on the market. Is that even possible? So I went to look up more information, and I found something Donald Trump said back in December 2025. Donald Trump said this: "We're going to take back the oil that Venezuela stole." Let's listen to the audio.
Right now, at this point in the video, there is a lot of background noise and overlapping audio, which makes it quite difficult to hear the speakers on screen. So we are taking a moment to observe the visual details of the environment instead, while the audio is still hard to hear.
Saifullah Jamodi is still a bit confused. Like, wait, did I translate that right? The oil that was stolen, does that mean Venezuela stole oil from America? How could that even happen? The oil is underground in Venezuela. When did they steal it from America? Did they steal it and then hide it underground in Venezuela or something? Is that even possible? There must be people who are confused like this too. Come on, admit it. So I started looking for more information, digging into the history to understand how things got to this point and why Donald Trump could say something like that. Here's what happened. Venezuela has been in the oil drilling business for over 100 years. By 1920, Gulf Oil and Shell, both American companies, were invited by the Venezuelan government to come in and drill for oil. At that time, the American companies didn't just come to drill for oil, you know. They built factories, cities, schools, and infrastructure for the Venezuelan people to live in. At that time, Venezuela had the highest number of American expats working there in the world. You could say it was a win-win situation. The United States got to drill for oil, and Venezuela received money from the U.S. They were rolling in wealth. Back then, Venezuela had the highest per capita income, or GDP per capita, in all of Latin America. So this made some Venezuelans start to think, wow, even when we let Americans come refine our oil, we're already this rich. What if the oil is ours and we drill it, refine it, and sell it ourselves? Just imagine how rich we'd be. With this idea in mind, in 1976, Venezuela suddenly announced that oil is the nation's property. So what do they do next? They just kicked out the American oil companies, just like that. Imagine if we were an American oil company at that time. We'd probably be thinking, wait, can they really just kick us out like this? Well, they did it. It's their country after all. If they don't care, if they don't plan to do business with us anymore, then so be it. At that time, there were 3 major American oil companies that suffered losses: Chevron, ExxonMobil, and Gulf Oil. The value of the damages was, altogether, the assets they put into Venezuela were worth about $5 billion. But Venezuela said, we'll try to be considerate and pay some compensation. So they ended up paying a total of $1 billion. Wait, what? We just said the losses were $5 billion, but they only paid $1 billion. That means these 3 companies still took a loss. At the very least, that's 80% of all the money they invested. But it's like they never learned their lesson. In 2007, under the leadership of Hugo Chavez, Venezuela ended up making another deal with American oil companies. And with this new deal, well, who knows how they negotiated it, there were all sorts of conflicts and disagreements. In the end, ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips ended up suing Venezuela. And yes, they actually won the lawsuit. So Venezuela had to pay back damages in the billions of dollars. But then the court ordered that the damages had to be paid back in installments, not as a lump sum or anything like that. So did Venezuela agree to pay? Well, they had to. Venezuela complied with the court order and started paying back in installments. But after just a few payments, something happened again. At that time, the U.S. imposed sanctions on Venezuela. When the U.S. sanctioned Venezuela, it meant that Venezuela couldn't really trade with other countries, right? So when they couldn't trade, they couldn't sell their oil. The money dried up and business couldn't go on. Everything just collapsed. So the damages that were supposed to be paid to the United States, the company that was supposed to pay, ended up not having any money to pay. But some people said that even if they had the money, they still wouldn't have been able to pay, because at that time, the U.S. had sanctioned Venezuela. What does sanctioned mean? Sanctioned just means sanctioned. Sanctions involve they blocked Venezuela's financial transactions. Right, once they blocked their finances, even if Venezuela wanted to make a payment to the American oil company, they just couldn't do it. So whether they actually had the money or not, nobody knows. But even if they did, they couldn't pay. But it's very likely they didn't have it anyway. See, when you mess with someone, this is what happens to you. Besides that, there's also the matter of direct investment money from the U.S. into Venezuela. In the past 3 years, it's been about this much per year. More than $3 billion per year. On top of that, there was also $210 million in aid. But the U.S. said that what America got in return was a government that isn't loyal to the United States. That's why Donald Trump said he wants to take back the oil from Venezuela. Trump also said he might support investment funding for oil companies to go and invest in building oil refineries in Venezuela. And even though Donald Trump didn't mention any specific numbers about how much support he'd provide, no matter how much money it is, I can tell you that if they're going to invest in refining oil in Venezuela, it's going to be a huge amount of money. And because of this news, oil companies and refineries in the U.S. saw their stocks jump. Chevron went up 6%, ConocoPhillips rose 5.7%, and ExxonMobil climbed 3.1%. But before you get too excited hearing this, stop right there, hold your horses, sit on your hands, don't go rushing out to buy oil stocks or refinery stocks in the U.S. just yet. The fact that these stocks have jumped just means they're reacting to the news, not that they're accepting Donald Trump's proposal. Why is that? Well, why is that? Honestly, I'm not entirely sure, but part of it might be because they've been burned before and don't want to get burned again. But another big reason why oil companies are very unlikely to accept Donald Trump's proposal is because what Trump is trying to do is, frankly, against international law. There's also a real possibility that if they go ahead and do business or make deals, and later the courts rule that it's actually illegal, any oil that's been refined and any profits made might have to be returned to the rightful owners. Because if the oil's underground in Thailand, then it belongs to those people, right? Next topic, about what Donald Trump said, that he captured Maduro in order to crack down on global drug cartels. So what's that about? Let's look at these numbers first. What he did might actually be good for the world, because here are the numbers of deaths from drug overdoses in the United States. 80,000 is the number of deaths from fentanyl, 30,000 is the number of deaths from cocaine overdoses, and 10,000 is the number of deaths from heroin overdoses per year. All of this is data from 2023. What do these numbers tell us? These numbers show that, yes, drugs, they kill Americans. And what else do these numbers tell us? They show that the demand for drugs is really high, even though people know. Even though people know that drug users are unlikely to survive, they still keep using. That's why the cartels are able to make a massive amount of money. And if we look at this map, we can see that the cartels cooperate with criminal groups in Europe, Asia, and all over the world, allowing them to make tens of billions of dollars a year. That's more than enough money to bribe officials, come up with new ways to avoid detection, and expand into... Before anything else, let's talk about what's happening in the world, whether it's wildlife trafficking or even human trafficking. So you might ask, what do the cartels have to do with Nicolas Maduro? Here's the story. The cartels started back in the 1970s, founded by Pablo Escobar, a Colombian who established the cartel and smuggled cocaine through the Caribbean Sea. He made millions of dollars from it. By the 1980s, there were reports that it was the cartel that smuggled cocaine into the United States, accounting for 80% of all the cocaine there. But if you ask where the cartel's influence in the drug trade was really the most intense, was it actually the United States? No, it was Colombia. At that time, Colombia was extremely dangerous because of the drug trade and all the mafia gangs. Colombia once had the highest murder rate in the world because of this. Every 3 hours, there was a murder. It was that brutal. The reason for this was that the Colombian government just couldn't handle it, so the US government had to step in and help. And the reason the United States had to join the war on drugs with Colombia was because the cartel exported drugs from Colombia through Mexico and into the US right at the Mexican border. That's why US presidents have been fighting the war on drugs for generations, from Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and so on. But nowadays, it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump mainly focused the war on drugs on 8 major gangs in Mexico, most of which are cartel gangs, along with a gang called Tren de Aragua, which originated from a prison in Venezuela. There's also another gang, Cartel de los Soles, which is a criminal network within the Venezuelan military. Trump even declared that these drug trafficking gangs are terrorists. Just like ISIS and Al-Qaeda, that means they can treat the leaders of these groups the same way they did with Osama bin Laden. At that time, the United States classified ISIS and Al-Qaeda as enemies of America because both ISIS and Al-Qaeda initiated violent attacks and killed Americans first. So if you compare that to Tren de Aragua, the drug gang in Venezuela, it means that the Tren de Aragua gang is considered to be the ones who orchestrated the smuggling of drugs into the United States, which has caused the deaths of Americans. That's essentially the same as killing Americans. This is the key point here, because Donald Trump said that the Tren de Aragua gang is controlled by the dictator named Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, the very same person. This issue has made the Caribbean Sea a hotspot since September 2025. There have been reports of explosions in the United States. Several fishing boats in that area were blown up, one after another, again and again. By October, the situation at sea became even more intense. That's because Donald Trump sent warships, fighter jets, drones, submarines, and tens of thousands more troops to the region. The Navy was also authorized to attack additional vessels, and the CIA was given the green light to conduct operations inside Venezuela, all before Nicolas Maduro was actually arrested on January 3rd. And another reason believed to have motivated Donald Trump to carry out the operation to capture Nicolas Maduro was probably his desire to wipe out the remaining dictatorships in the region. That's right, because the United States claims that Maduro has stayed in power through election fraud, including corruption and collusion with the military, which has caused suffering for the Venezuelan people. The economy has collapsed, crime has skyrocketed, and many Venezuelans have been forced to flee the country. So Donald Trump has already dealt with Venezuela, and there was an announcement that the administration of Venezuela would be handled temporarily. The situation in Venezuela is still pretty heated. I've come up with a new list of possible targets. The next station, the next goal that the United States might go after is Colombia, the source country for drugs. But that's not all. On the list, there's also Cuba, Mexico, and there's even a possibility they might try to take Greenland too. Whoa, is this like going back to the colonial era or what? I'm starting to wonder myself. If other countries around the world see that America can do this, will other countries try to do it too? Will anyone else want to? There are some countries with power close to America's level, but when we see all of this happening, it's not just about whether or not something like this could happen. Instead, it really feels like this is clear evidence that shows in this world, business and everything else no longer operate by the rules. Now, it's all about power. Power is the only thing that matters.